Good morning, everybody. Hi, Michael.
Hello, Dr. Rao. How are you today?
Yeah, I missed your room today because I was with something else. When I opened it, it was already over. The dark web, that room.
Yeah, well, I think it was a very constructive, pretty awesome. We talk about the technical part and how to be safe. Yeah, I enjoy it. But thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I was going to come, but I think I missed it. Hi, Nilima.
Hello, Dr. Rao. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Very good.
Very good. I'm glad you were able to come. Um, I think Raj came and disappeared, so we'll see. Well, anyway, this is our series on learning by questioning, especially about our wealth of wellness, health, and also the health systems and how we are really smart about it. So I want to really be available and indulge our guests here to see whether they will be able to ask some questions and then we'll answer them. I'll make my friends moderators too. And so basically, we were doing a series on learning by questioning, but the items now are mainly confined to the healthcare, our own health, and how smart we are about it. Last week we talked about the health system in the United States and also other places. Because I'm here and I have been working here for more than 40 years, I have some insights into the healthcare system here, but how it can also deliberately go all over the place, right? So we were talking about that. And this time, I really want to see whether people understand what is health consciousness means and how are they going to really implement that in their life. Is it implemented already? If they are smart about that, they can educate everybody else here what is that they are doing, that kind of thing. So Nilima, shall we start with you? What do you understand by health conscious?
Thank you, Dr. Rao. For me, being health conscious means waking up every morning
Yeah.
and feeling good about myself. That's what makes me feel that I'm healthy and I can move on with my day comfortably.
Very good. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Very good. I will ask Michael also. Michael, can you put in a brief?
Michael is having dinner. I think he'll just be back in 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, we will go along, but for my health provider point of view, for me, I like to, learn what's the health status of our patients in the sense of do they come when something goes wrong, or do they have a lifestyle that is really they're conscious about what can happen if they do this, and what their health can go this way. That way, suppose you are aware of the diseases that you have in your family, that they can come out later because all the families stick to a daily routines. Like, for example, food, they eat certain food that were made by the grandma and the ma. It's a family traditions like a festivals and all those places when moms cook nice foods and we enjoy them and we kind of get addicted without knowing them. And later on in middle age, we may discover, oh, this is not good. That is being health conscious about what is happening in the family. Okay. It was not like this before because we didn't have information, but now you can have a lot of information here that can really help you to know about these things and act accordingly. And does that sound good enough, Neelima?
Yes, Dr. Rao.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yes. We mostly question when we fall sick.
Yeah.
We don't question before that.
Yeah. See, my thing is, how can we prevent these things? How can we have an extended lifespan where we are much more healthy and smart about everyday life? That's kind of thing I want to bring it. Other way to look at it is, uh, do we have lifestyles that promote injury or accidents, or like the younger kids are given these motorbikes in India, I was told, and they drive them at a very, very rapid speed, and they are not educated about road trauma, accidents, and they can injure other people, that kind of thing too. Here, they give a class for every driving school. If they go there and then they are to get the license, they have certain things that they go through, and also the fire brigade and other people, they go to schools and educate the children about how to safely be in the workplace, in the schools, in the homes, and all that. That is also being smart. For example, you have an elderly here. I can send it to somebody moving to a different home, from a bigger home to a smaller home, and we can go and inspect the geriatric safety. Do they have rails? Do they have ramps? Do they have access to rooms that is easy for them? And also, do they have good roofs, not leaky and all? That kind of home safety is evaluated too. That's also being conscious of our environment, our living quarters, and all that. That's also very important too. That's what I was talking about. We being smart. Suppose we have aging parents that we are trying to put them in the home, elderly homes and nursing homes and all that. There are facilities here that social workers and other people really go through them and then evaluate them and make sure they're all ready. So that's also being health conscious in my viewpoint. If you really extend this, if you look at what kind of soil we have, what kind of things we are growing in, having awareness of topsoil erosion and nutrition lack, vitality lack, that's also being conscious about things, right? Like that water, what kind of water we are drinking, is that safe enough? There are certain counties in United States also that has a lot of lead, so they introduced a legislation where people are aware of the lead content in their neighborhood. Suppose they have a well water, they dug a well in their own backyard, then you have to pass that test, right? So those kind of safeties are there. In the United States, for example, they make it a law and you have to abide by it. But other countries may not be doing that. We have to take active part. That's what I'm saying. So be conscious of what are the earth we are growing our food on, and what is the water, what is the air pollution, all those things we can. And also, if you can really get the water purified or heated up, there are a lot of diseases. Still, malaria is very, very big deal, right? In other countries, I suppose that we are aware of what is happening with our weather and what is the disasters happening. That's also being health conscious. A lot of people neglect being health conscious like that, and then get ended up in malaria. So that's what I'm talking about. Health conscious means, first of all, our own health, how we are. Do we feel well? Dr. Lajma said, do we feel sickly? Or are we exposing ourselves to travel to some other town when we don't take enough precautions? For example, people come to me, they're going to Africa, Asia, or South America, whatever. Then what we do is we check the CDC used to be good. We used to check that, and then we will make sure that the diseases for which maybe they recommend some vaccination, we make them get that and then travel ready and go. Or preparation, like what they should be doing, their instruction. For example, in India, I used to tell them, always take care of the water. Bottled water or a hot water, that is good enough. When you go from here, your immunity low, and you will. But after a few weeks of staying there, you will acquire the immunity, and then it will be okay. That's what personally I did when I first came. First few weeks, I did not eat outside, and I ate only at home, and also only the bottled water. But then after 3 or 4 weeks, I could eat outside. I didn't affect me. But when I ate early in the travel, then I was in trouble. That kind of conscious awareness of what is happening in the countries that we're going to travel. And now we have so much knowledge available about what can be prevalent in those countries, what kind of waters, if you go to, how you protect your full clothing, all those instructions will be there. That is being conscious about what we are going to encounter when we travel to the bigger ones, right? That's kind of thing. So that's my consciousness of health is comprehensive in that sense, but I'm a provider, so that is part of my role, and part of my role is to educate my patients, families, and friends about this. Not to be paranoid, but just to be smart. Best to be aware of that. You can take your own family history, and from that you can expect some things in comes, and you can change the lifestyles accordingly. And you can take, for example, you're working nighttime working. What is the body clock? How can you handle that? If not, what are the changes you have to make? That kind of thing. And also, if you are really working in places where a lot of dangers are there for you, environmental dangers, gases, all those things are there, right? So suppose you are going to the war zone, obviously, that kind of thing you have to be aware of. And there are so many distant places, even in United States, that have methane, that have polluted water, that have a lot of things go on here, because the multinationals all over, they kind of dump all the toxic waste into the rivers. And if you are drinking that river, or suppose you went on a hiking trip, I saw a lot of patients of mine, they picked up Lyme disease, other diseases when they came back home. So that is the conscious I'm talking about, just being smart about the activities we are doing at that time, act with information and act with awareness. Does it make sense, Nilima, what I said?
Yes, Dr. Rao, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Not only one should take care of their own health, but also when you travel, when you go to different places, yes,
Yeah.
it's very important to be conscious.
Yeah.
It's very important to be conscious. Yeah.
And also, there are deeper things. I don't want to go into the spiritual aspects of it, where it becomes much more important to take care of their mind. But even if you take the modern culture, the way we are evolving with information overload, and a lot of people are really not paying attention to the attention deficit that's happening with exposure to a lot of social media, because their job is to constantly distract us, throwing stuff at us. But we have to choose with awareness what is important, what is not. Suppose you are doing 10 15 rooms, and then you don't pay attention to what that content, whether you agree it or not, the exposure of the lot of content, what does it do? I have friends who are working with a lot of information from morning till evening, and then they develop this headache, they develop this insomnia thing, they don't sleep well, and that continues to the next day. So then I just brought about what is the working condition, how do you do, what is your work style, and all of that. So a lot of it, it's not the important work, it's not the relationship that's a problem with them, it's just being sucked in by the social media. And then they say, oh my God, this is really too difficult for us to handle. But they continuously, without any awareness, they get exposed to the knowledge which is not really needed. And so much put in obviously produces some problem. That's a special problem. So being aware of how we are working, where we are working, what we are working with, what kind of information is very, very important, I think. What do you think about that, Nilima?
Yeah, absolutely. One has the choice to go where they want on social media and pick up what they want.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely up to an individual how they take it and how they process it. But at the same time, it's important to understand and discern what is right for them, what is wrong for them.
Yeah.
And yeah, that is happening. Actually, it is happening on social media. It's there. It's all over. Everybody's talking about health, since the topic of this room is health.
Yes.
Everybody is talking about health. There are so many rooms on Clubhouse where people talk about health. But how many people are authentic?
Yeah.
Just now we had a room where there was this person who was talking about a particular club where they are not even doctors and they talk about health. And doctors are participating in that room. So it is very scary. It is very scary.
Yeah, that's another thing too. If you accept all the information thrown at you, that is a danger too. So you got to have real validity and check up on which that are coming in. and don't accept. A lot of people do a lot of things, but then it's up to us to really go and check it out. I always say, even myself also, don't believe me, go and do some research. Don't accept it just like that, and then you can evaluate for yourself if it's good or not. There's so much of spiritual talk go too, but that's all coming from their own mental habits sometimes, and it's not really these people are spiritually enlightened, but then they do tell you a lot of things. So it is a difficult thing to really know what is authentic, what is not, unless you put the time and then go there and then do your research. Then it will be authentic, and then you can. There is so much information comes at my patients, and lots of times the good thing is they do come and check with me. The people that I'm close with, that have been with me for a long time, they do come and check with me. And then if I know about it as authentic, I'll tell. Otherwise, we kind of refer them to the sources that we think they were cross-checked and then they were legitimate. It's a part of the service I made it. Like, I never discourage people to go to the net and find out, but that was the trend with which I came from New York. When I came here in 96 or 97, 96, I came here into the Midwest. And New York people are very aggressive, and they were already used to the online banking and everything. But when I came to here, Midwest, it was unheard of. But we were used to the patients coming there, asking questions from the web and all of that. So very active engagement. We liked that too. So when I came here, when I wanted to do the same thing with the patient, they said, no, you are the doctor. You tell us what to do. We will do it. But slowly that has changed from then. From 96, now it has changed. But we always encourage them to read upon their problems, their diseases, their family tree, and all that. But also really go to the sources that are authentic, that are not really promoting something because they have interest in those drugs and all that, because they have monetary interest, right? So that kind of education was very important from the providers, which I felt and then implemented. That way I know they are doing something that is not good for them, and also they don't have any guidance on that. Lots of times people were happy, it was approved by us, then they say, okay, our doctor has looked at it, he said. And lots of times we did not say anything because we don't know what they are bringing, all sorts of things, herbs and supplements and everything they are bringing in. And that goes on the social media quite a lot. So when it comes, say basically this, whatever your body, check it out. Don't trust anyone like that, unless your own doctor. Whatever is coming out of you, the digital toxicity or whatever, the water and all those things, be careful with that too. So that kind of not being obsessive, but more being cautious about these things, I think is very, very much needed. As the explosion of information is happening, this is more needed. You see, that is what I feel. So not many people here. That is what I was always talking about. My intentions are very good, but then when I want them to ask questions, the people are, maybe they will show up later. So this, okay, somebody's here now.
Yeah, Srinath, welcome. You have any questions for Dr. Rao on health?
No question. What this question I don't know. Just I answer.
Yeah, we were talking, Srinath, about how conscious are we about our health status, health habits, what's going on in our work environment, and how smartly we are really assessing them and making use of them, that kind of thing. So I don't want to give a complete lecture on that, but more like indicating areas where people can question and find out for themselves how their family health is, how their living habits are contributing to their problems or to the solutions. Because some people do not care until they get sick, but we try to be preventive, proactive, health maintenance, and also acquiring a lot of knowledge where we don't allow our work stress affect our family life, or family life affect our work, that kind of thing. Those broad areas are there: community health, planet health, individual health. All those things are affect each other, right? But if we care about only our health, then we are missing out how to dispose of waste and how to contribute to the carbon imprint we are making, that kind of things. So it all depends on how expansive your thinking is. Michael, are you back? Are you still not back? I wonder what he thinks about this.
Yes. Just one small question I ask. Can I ask you?
Yeah, please.
Regarding my health, how I control my weight, reducing and fat, bad cholesterol.
Oh, okay. So you got an analysis of the cholesterol?
No, overweight regarding
Overweight. Okay,
body
okay.
mass index.
Yeah, this
according
is
to not is there.
Yeah.
Is there any excess to my body mass index? According to not, it is overweight. How I control the weight according to body mass index?
Okay.
Can you explain about
Yeah.
Yeah. how it control it? And
Yeah,
what
what
I do.
Okay, I got your question. What it is body mass index, according to the height and weight, we determine the range with which you should be. Ideally, if you are up to, about certain height, like a 5 feet, 100 pounds, and then 5 pounds for each centimeter we added up. It's usually according to the age, it changes too. There's an index we measure, and then we say above 27 you are obese, and below 27 you are okay. So both ways is problem. Very heavy weight or low weight is problem. But body mass index tells us that you are obese, and that means you have excess weight, you are carrying it. So you got to look at your lifestyles, you got to look at your genes, you got to look at all the chemistry, all those things we do. Then we can find out a lot of people have diabetes and obese, a lot of people have high cholesterol or obese, a lot of people are leading towards problems down the line. So we also measure the weight, the circumference, and all, and the waist circumference, and then determine, okay, you need to have this program of, basically we start always with what is the eating pattern. Are you eating excessively and not good foods? Then you have to control that. And second thing is, are you active? Are you inactive? That based on that, we recommend the exercise routines too. A lot of people sit in the chair and work these days, so that is also a problem. So we kind of introduce exercise program that they can incorporate. That's common sense, right? Everybody does that. And then family history also is there. That also we will look into it. And there are medications you can use to decrease your weight if it is really very, very high, right? I have one patient who had 720 pounds, but we had to send him for the gastric bypass surgery, and he went in. But a lot of people don't do very well, because some people do well. Important thing is you got to adopt some weight reducing lifestyles like diet and exercise, and maintain that after the surgery. Otherwise, you regain the weight back again. So that's a challenge for a lot of people. But basically, habits. Why did I gain weight? Am I eating too much, or am I doing too little? That's the fundamental question. But some people are born like there are three types of body types: ectomorphic, endomorphic, and mesomorphic. So if ectomorphic have a very high metabolic rate, they can eat a lot, they burn it up. so they don't put on weight. But mesomorphic and endomorphic, they can do it. So we find that out. And then there are ways to really help them with medications and surgery. So it's a big medical topic. But what we are seeing is the very fact that you are aware that you are obese, you are not able to do, that means you are noticing something wrong with your body and you want to interfere with the medical suggestions and testing and all of that. So this room is not for the medical treatment, but more like presenting people, take opportunity in your life to be aware of your health, how it is, where it is going, what it's doing, what can I do, what the system has the information for me. For example, ancient lifestyles I looked at it, they were walking all the time because they didn't have vehicles. They rode horses maybe, but most of the time they were walking. And also they were doing a lot of physical stuff, in the fields, in the house. So in the house, there's a lot of stuff that she has to do physically. That was a blessing in disguise. Modern, we became more like a comfort creatures, sitting all the time and using soft cushions and taking elevators, taking cars, other vehicles. And that is the one you want to be aware of and immediately reverse it. Suppose you are sitting down, get up every half an hour and just walk around the office and come back. That simple thing will be allowed. And also, it used to be if you have a call, telephone call. Now it's the mobile. Before it should be on the table, right? Whenever you have call, just take it and get up and walking around top. Things like that. So I particularly take interest in designing activities in their own work. So if they come and tell me, Nilma can tell me what is her work, how is she doing, what is it, then I can identify opportunities for her to make her body more active. See, when you go and study system-based yoga, they will tell you what kind of gunas you have and what kind of energies you have, and accordingly your body will respond to these small changes. Once you take a quiz and identify that, suppose you have tamas energy more in the body, that is inertia. We don't want that. Suppose you have rajasic quality, then you will be thinking and running all the time. So we want to balance that. There are foods we balance, activities we balance, even thinking we make recommendations. So a combination of modern way of diagnosing what's wrong with you and using some of the lifestyles as the ancient wisdom is a very good thing, I think. They don't advise medication, they advise all the good things that you can do with yourself. Okay, so see your doctor, get all these evaluations done, and then look at your lifestyles and then change them a little bit. And don't think it will happen right away, because you have acquired these habits for some time, and then you to reverse them. You can be heavy set, but your chemistry should be good. See, a lot of women here, black women and all that, they are heavy set. They're heavy boned, we call them, but we don't blame them. We don't make them feel like they're body conscious. We make them feel like you are heavy set. That's okay. But are you good enough chemistry within you? That is where the modern testing of blood and everything that we do, they lead to one after other. And finally, we may find some reason why you are putting so much of weight. And it could be simply you are eating more and not moving enough. Okay, that could be it. Or it could be just your furniture is not good for you because you are putting so much weight, that kind of thing. Okay, is that sensible, Srinath, was it? Is it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard your suggestions. What I can do to reduce the weight, I don't understand your speech.
Yeah, you got to figure out why you are having the weight. Then you will figure out the plan. I gave you detailed analysis of what we do.
I 168 centimeter.
I know, but you have to consult with your doctor and make a plan. Yeah.
But I excess about 12 to 15 kg weight over. What can I do to control the weight.
I'm trying to tell you, you got to visit your doctor, get tested, and find out what is the real reason you are obese. And then you may discover diabetes, you may discover hyperlipidemia, and then you have to do appropriate. This room is about how can you be conscious about this thing. It's a good thing that you're conscious that you're putting the weight. Go and take action. This we are trying to promote people to be more conscious of their own health, how to take care of it. The earlier you really find out the reasons and then fix it, the better it is. Okay. Anybody else has a question?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Madan, please go ahead.
Good evening, doctor.
Hi.
This is Madan.
Yeah, Madan.
I have two questions. One is regarding the liver, another is regarding the vitamin D. Mostly if you want to take care of the liver, you mostly require there are vitamin C, vitamin D, vitamin E, and some of the vitamin B12 and other. But now what is happening? B12, yes, I can get vitamin C, I can get vitamin E, I can get from the food. The maximum number of foods I can get. The vitamin D is the issue now. What is happening? If I go someone to the sun, you get sun allergy. So you cannot even in the morning 6 to 7 sun also it gives. Okay, you can give vitamin C, but that vitamin C is not sufficient. If you take a vitamin C figure, people on an average, people gets around 5 to 15, 26. In my case, yes, I improved to up to 60. So what I am asking that if the person who's not able to go to the sun, you have a sun allergy, even if you have a food supplements, even if you are taking a fish or if you are taking egg yolks, and even sometimes we take red meat, liver, and other vegetables, but that is not improving the vitamin D. Now, with your experience, such type of case, what is your suggestion to improve vitamin D?
Again,
that is my first question. Once if you answer, then I will go for the second.
No. First of all, understand the context of this room. This room about improving the awareness of health consciousness, where our health status is, not particular treatment. First of all, my approach is holistic and integrated. Vitamins and minerals, all of them, we should be getting from our diet and from our activity. And the sun exposure, if you say allergy, we have to see what is the allergy. Okay, what happens to you when you are exposed to the allergy, that kind of thing, right? So I don't understand when you say, I'm allergic. What happens to you when you go to the sun?
No, if I go to the sun, my skin get immediately burned.
Yeah.
So if in the 9 to 10 o'clock after 10, if I directly exposure to the sun, in morning 6 to 7:30, no issue. I can see directly sun for 10 minutes.
Yeah. See, so what it is.
More than that, 9 after that, it is very difficult my sun to observe, so it gets irritated.
Where do you live, Madan? Which part of the country do you live?
No, I'm basically from India. India is the southern part of this one. That's called Chennai.
Chennai. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah, I know Chennai too. It's very hot and very humid too. Sometimes I was there one time and it was very humid at the time. See, what I'm saying is, if you have sun protections are there, and if you can good one, and then expose. Basically, dawn and dusk are okay even if you go, but a mid-afternoon sun is not good for anybody, and especially in parts of the country like in India, Chennai will be very hot for you, so you're getting burned. That doesn't mean you are getting vitamin C deficiency from it. But then vitamin D is good when you are exposed to the sun. So can you use some skin protection and then go there? Like all these people use it here, for sure. We recommend them to our white skin people here. You can use that.
But I'm really reluctant to not to use such cream. But mostly I apply.
Why? Why are you reluctant to sunscreen?
No, doctor. Actually, I don't want to use anything skin ointment and other thing. But okay, my skin is good. But basically, I apply I go with the naturopathy. Normally, I never apply anything on my face. I go for only natural because I want the skin should be as it is the natural.
Anyway,
so I apply curd before I'm going out. So I apply curd, so it is okay for me. But it is not sometimes. If when I go to the beach, because near my house is beach, so that time it gets burned. I come to the car and then I put some ice pack. Then I go and put a hat.
All right, let us go to our subject.
Madan, how can you increase the vitamin D? Anyway,
Madan, let us go to the subject matter here. That's what I keep on struggling with Indian audiences. They come and ask me all the doctor questions. Renju, how are you? Welcome.
I'm good. Thank you, Dr. Rao. I'm good.
So you got, did you hear anything at all about health conscious, what we are trying to do here?
I just came in, Dr. Rao.
Okay.
I heard Madan ask the doubt.
Sure. Let me give you a room setup like, I don't usually do it, but I'll try to explain to you. What I'm talking about is, instead of just responding when illness attacks us, let us develop a health IQ, like what is our family history, what is our genetics, what is our diet, and where we are living, what we are doing, like a travel or certain work patterns and all those. Accordingly, there are some indications that happen to our body and mind, right? Like I say, all the people in the clubhouse, they are only using the manomaya kosha, that is mind only. But once you get stuck in that, then you will get information overload and brain fog and all of that. But if you identify that and then get out of it without really being influenced by too much information, that's being health conscious in a mind wise. Okay, so those kind of things: what kind of water, what kind of soil, what kind of air we are doing, what is happening with the pollution. For example, in our part of the world, I have a lot of bronchitis here and a lot of COPD, lung infections and all that, right? Because this air is really polluted with a lot of these companies who are grandfathered about releasing all that. There's a lot of fight all the time between Republicans and Democrats, because Republicans want a full license for the companies to operate, let them pollute and all that. There's a lot of fight from the other way. Then climate is more taken care of. Some laws came, that's why they cut down, right? Even now, biggest polluter is USA, okay? And once we know it, you are living some places where this air is not good. Say, like for example, when we first came here, there's a corn factory. They make corn, right? Clinton corn. And we used to have dirty, smell from that, But now they have implemented this law where this has to be purified. Then they made well. And so when I'm coming here, it was a big deal to move to this town. And that was something was very unhappy for me. But then they fixed it. I took a home away from that factory so that winds won't blow this way. We found out how the whole thing behaves. So that is kind of being health conscious. Instead of establishing ourselves next to the factory and inhaling all of that, we just want to be away from that. See, that kind of health conscious about our planet, our societies, our work patterns. Do you get what I'm talking about? That's what I'm focusing on today. Am I clear about that, Renzo and Nilima?
Very clear,
yes, Dr.
Thank you.
Yes.
That way, I'm inviting our friends to go into their own life and bring in some things. Then we can talk extensively. For example, Srinath, somebody, he talked about obesity. That's a major problem in the society. For example, I am seeing patients of 10 years because I'm also very familiar with the pediatrics because I worked in pediatrics in New York. So I was seeing them, not pretending I'm a pediatrician, but it's a convenience for the parents. They are comfortable with our clinic when they come. Regular things like infections and diarrhea, those things we saw. And we have 3 pediatrics in in town. So any problem, we are going to refer them. So we work closely like that. But a lot of parents want to bring their children to me because they're comfortable with that, and because I'm comfortable with some of the kids and like the kids too. So I got after the 1 month they come out of the hospital. From there to till 17 years also I can see, but actually 17 years and above only I can see. But then once I encountered this, my patient volume went up, and then I saw a lot of kids. But the one thing I noticed was their age of obesity going down. Now people at 10 years old who I'm seeing obesity. It's a massive problem going on. I'm partial to the yoga. With my yoga, I'm always maintaining the same 150 from 55 years now, 67. I have the same thing I maintain all the time because there is a discipline about our diet. There is a discipline about our activity. There is awareness of whether I'm active or not, whether I'm succumbing to this inertia and comfort and all. I did a talk on the comfort creatures, how it is harmful for us, how modern life is really allowing that people to say the sofas is the biggest problem for the back pain and this obesity. Video gaming and kids are not going out anymore. So that's a problem too. So we had to go and tell the school children that you got to be more active. Even in the nursing homes, the V machine when it first came in 90s, I think, I happen to be the director of a nursing home. So when I went there, all these elderly people are really sitting in the chairs at beds. I really get depressed when I see their state. So I thought, okay, let's introduce some activity for them. They were doing some activity according to the physical therapy, but they have regimented half an hour. Like that's not enough. So walking them, giving them this V where they can pretend they're playing table tennis. You know how the machine works. All those things are very good for them. So, but then video gaming is where the kids are not active, but then just enjoying and increasing the pleasure mind ways. Two way it is bad. One is it doesn't allow you to be physically active. Second thing is it teaches you pleasure inside, and which is really we are having a lot of problems with all the sports. Tremendous energy goes into that, but only few people are playing. Rest of them are sitting down either at home or in the stadium, and then they are enjoying or they're keeping their bodies rather inactive. You know what I mean? So that's what we want. We want to propose: go and play, not just to see all the time. And that has become a big social problem. Obesity has become a social problem because we are allowing bad diet, all this processed food, and we're concluded now all the chronic diseases are because of that. But then other countries like India, for example, they are eating the pizzas and burgers as though it's a fashionable thing. It's not. So traditional diet is very good. So but they do that, right? So this combination of bad eating and lack of activity is promoting obesity from a very early childhood. There are these McDonald's, Burger Kings, and all these things. They have some of the worst food there. But then people go there because they're convenient, because restaurants are clean and available and also cheap. But the obesity is going. On the one hand, we are crying about this. Our physicians, this obesity is getting bad. Not even now. From 90s, we're crying about it. But this is on the ascendancy. How much we are aware whether we are getting obese or not is like just allowing our weight to be followed. Just pay attention to that. And also, there are occasions when you have a surgery or you have a pregnancy and delivery, and those kind of lifetimes is the one when you have to make a little bit more extra effort to go back on the. If you are doing regular exercise and you don't have to body sculpt, but at least aerobic exercise, some flexibility, some kind of toning up, all those things really prevent chronic disease in the long run. So instead of just doing it like a obsessive compulsive or something oriented, like I don't want to take shower unless I have 20 minutes of walk, something like that. If you cluster them, then the lifestyles are much easier to do. Right? That's the focus I want to bring in. Yeah, Nilma, you are going to say something.
Nothing, Dr. Rao. I just thought you took a small break, so I wanted to ask what's the next question.
Yeah.
Pramod, I think, is online. So,
yeah.
Pramod, you just asked, or would you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I would like to contribute what Dr. Rao, what I have learned about whether I am conscious about health or not.
Very good.
Most of, yeah, please.
Go ahead, Pramod. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So most of us are not even aware of whether I am healthy or not. Unless until there is some pain is occurring. If I am only having headache, only I will realize, okay, I am not healthy.
Yeah.
So while eating or while doing our daily activities, we don't even care about our health. So most of the thing is like that. Even while eating, I am not even concerned if it is healthy food or not. Only after having diabetes, okay, now I am having diabetes, I should avoid sugar. So this is what is happening now. And most of the things, as you said, that most of the children are playing video games, are engaged in social medias, or that is some activities. Now we are trained from childhood not to keep silent. So being keeping silent is important for creating awareness.
Yeah.
That we are not even teaching to our children nowadays. So nowadays, these children, they should be engaged in some or other activities.
Yeah.
So if you see that even just 2 minutes sitting on the railway station, now they will not be watch the people or train. They'll be taking out the mobile and doing some watching some YouTube videos.
Worldwide, Pramod. It's not just one place. Worldwide, they are doing that.
So most important to create that is awareness is meditation or say anything like that. That we need to take care of our body.
Yeah.
So this is what I wanted to bring it. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity. And how I create conscious is just sitting and scanning my body. I see where is there any changes or what body is calling for.
Yeah.
If there is any pain, I'm asking why is this body is crying. Like a baby, whenever there is a pain or anything which is having abnormal in the body, that means body is crying for attention.
Yeah.
So we don't care for attention at that time. When it is become a crucial or when the problem is more aggravated, only then we go for doctor and any other treatment. And regarding Madan, what he has told, that skin problem, I think he is resisting something. That's why he is having any skin problem. And I am from basically Rajasthani, but staying in Chennai for a long time. So many people shift from north and they come to Chennai, but initially they are not accustomed to the climate. Even when we shifted here, I used to get often cold and so many other issues, fever, even slightest wind I will get. But after some time, I got accustomed to the climate. Now it is not at all big a problem. Even if it is a afternoon or a morning, whenever I go out walking or traveling, I do a lot of traveling. There is not an issue for me. So this is what I wanted to say. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity.
Yeah, Pramod, that's exactly what I'm trying to get at. I'm glad you got the point and you mentioned it. You see, there was this awareness increasing things in ancient wisdom, which I kind of study quite regularly. And as a physician, a lot of my understandings, a lot of my orientations changed. And the first benefit was I became very healthy. My energy has gone up, and I don't use medications that easily. It was since 2014. I have not taken any aspirin also, So that is there is I found something in literature, ancient literature. I presented that slide. I should have brought that here. But it has 8 steps that anybody can check on their own to see where they stand in terms of health and immunity, right? And I put them in a pictorial process so that people can understand instead of narrating them like that. Nilima, you may want to note this down. You will like this, I think. So it starts with midnight, late night when I'm going to go to sleep, right? The first thing is, am I having a good, deep sleep, or am I tossing and turning around now. So first requirement is be positive in your thinking before you go to sleep. That's one thing they recommended. Mind you, this was written 15,000 years ago. Number two is good adequate sleep, sukha nidra, right? And then when you get up in the morning, you don't want to be lazy. That's the number three. Then you go and check your weight, whether you are maintaining the weight or not. And then you go to the bathroom and have a good bowel movement. Very important. That was first actually they put it there. I put it like a pictorial so that people can remember that. That's up to 5 now. And now you come out and get out and face the sun and move the body. That is sixth and seventh. And then when you have moved the body, exercise, whatever you do, and then you have really generated some appetite. This is a good appetite. And then you come down and have a good breakfast. That is the main meal of the day. So don't eat it unless you are hungry enough. This is a very good routine that they prescribed, and it is very, very healthy to implement and also measure so many things, right, with ourselves. This could really increase your health conscious, how you are. Are you having a lot of mind problems, concentration, deficit, and all that? That's why you are not able to get rid of a lot of things before you sleep. Are you having some diary maintenance or some noting down important things for the next day? Things like that. But main thing is go to bed as clear mind as possible. There, here I'm going to go and tell you something about esoteric aspect of spirituality. In one of the Upanishads, which is short one, they explore Trivastha. Every human being have these three stages: wakefulness, then dreaminess, and deep sleep. We all do, right? We are awake, and when we try to go to sleep, we will dream, and then we'll have deep sleep. These three, all of them have. Deep sleep, you cannot do much about. Dreaming, you cannot do much about. What you can do is in the wakeful state. So how the deep sleep is enhanced is if you are attentive to everything that you are doing. Just have that habit of attention to every action. Don't do 10 different things at the same time. That's the multitasking. I find it very difficult for a lot of people and it's causing a lot of problems. I do a number of things, but whatever I do, I focus only on that. So that can be done. That's all I'm saying. Okay. So this is something that you can keep it, and then maybe I'll make that slide available so that you can see all of that, and that practice that just like I described. Positive thoughts, deep sleep, getting up in the morning, absence of laziness, and checking your weight, going to the good bowel movement, and then getting out and walking a little bit, exposing yourself to the sun, and coming back with a good appetite, having a breakfast. How is that, Nilima?
I had something to Dr.
Yeah, sure, Pramod. Go ahead, please add.
So I had long back I had a severe migraine issue also. I had the schizophrenia and even I had epileptic attacks. So one of the best neurologists in Chennai, was I was getting treatment from him. Every 6 months I used to have a EEG and CT scan. So one thing it cured is meditation and pranayama.
Yeah.
That is. So I think including pranayama and meditation will improve 90% of the awareness of our body. And even good sleep, deep sleep you can experience.
Yeah, Pramod, I'm an advanced yogi. So I agree with you. Pranayama and meditation are very important, but they have to be understood in the right context. There was a study just a couple of days ago. I saw it. Georgetown University did one study on people with mindfulness versus people with Lexapro. Both are suffering from anxiety or depression, right? This is a major study. They did that. And they found mindfulness is equally better working with the people than the Lexapro, because Lexapro has cost and side effects and all that. So what it is, I don't want to go piecemeal on that, because I'm very big on the meditativeness. That means you are meditative all the time. There is something like that, which I am experiencing, I'm telling you, but that takes a lot of training. Not everybody is at that state. But then pranayama, for example, if there's a deep breathing that you do, then it slows down your mind. Basically, both are coming from the same powerful area. So that's why there's a lot of science in that too. That's a very good thing. The migraines is a functional disorder of the mind. So deep pranayama will do. And the other thing is the meditation is not just sitting in meditation, but making ourselves oriented to one thought and then going beyond the thought. That is the one really helps qualitatively and health-wise. And this electrical activity, which is causing you all this epileptic, can be helped because that gives a deep rest to the mental activity. So, but not all epileptics will respond to that. Because that's why I don't want people to take individual experiences as medical suggestions. Nothing is suggested here medically, but what we are saying is as a tool of meditation where you are deliberately concentrating on the thought first, then observing the thoughts, then identifying the negative and replacing it with the positive and coming to one thought and going beyond it has tremendous beneficial. It takes a lot of training, a lot of understanding where you are, and then each person is different. And also this complication of the social audio, social media, all the devices, they are really promoting distraction, continued distraction. So you got to be away from the continued distraction and be focused on what you want to do. What is the purpose? Why you are doing so many rooms? Well, for example, people who like me who do a lot of rooms, right? But why I'm doing it? Wherever room is, I go. I want to learn or contribute. If I have something to contribute, lots of times people may not even get it. May want to really stay in their position and want to attack and all the things. But they basically this what is called samvad versus argument. Samvad is debate or really pursuing a truth, and towards this path we both cooperate, respect each other and all that. But argument is where you have a position, you have taken something, and you want to stay there and argue it. So there are so many layers of body. One of the layers is the manomaya kosha, which I'm talking about. If you don't know how to clear that, how to handle that, then you will be victim of that. That's what we are seeing too. So pranayama and meditation are tremendous tools, but needs a lot of understanding and training, which I do all the time. I'm happy to do separate rooms on each one too, if you want to do. But what I'm saying is,
Dr. Rao,
yeah.
I have a quick question. How many minutes, if you're just a starter with meditation, and how many should always do the same?
There's no prescription like that, but then each person responds to these things differently. For example, you have what's called rajasic thought, where you are flying off the handle and a lot of thoughts are coming in. Then your thing is concentrate them, and then be objectifying the thoughts gives a chance to slow them down and identify them, and that then you call what's called pratipaksha bhavana. If you have negative thoughts, you replace that. So there are so many aspects of meditation people don't understand, but if you understand, it's going to be a tremendous boon for you, blessing for you. But if you don't do properly, it can do the other way too. So that's why be careful. And the essential steps is this: thoughts are going all over, bring them together, concentration. That's called dharana. And then focus on one thought and be with one thought, that is dhyana. And then you go beyond the thought, that is samadhi. These are the three steps Patanjali Yoga prescribes. Actually, yoga is for the mind, but everybody thinks it is only for the body. No, body has to be healthy so that it won't be a problem for you to do the proper meditation. The essential thing is in yoga, you kind of get your thought and everything under kind of your control, and you being the witness, you got to establish yourself, then the samadhi happens. That samadhi, few seconds also is very difficult for a lot of us. Years they have to do that. But once you touch that state, even a few seconds a day, it releases enormous energy. So it's a complicated matter, but then if you want...
replacing the negative thought that comes to you and with something positive.
Yes, that's very good.
Probably if it's more a lot of crap going on negatively, it might take a little longer.
Yeah, people don't stop there. Yeah, they don't stop. What they do is they get tangled with that negative thought, and they think, I'm a human being, I can do that. But the thing is, human beings also have possibilities. That is what yoga gives you. That's where it is a positive psychology. Within you, there are latent energies, latent capacities that you could do. That's why suffering and all these things are welcomed, so that they can be seed for you where you can go beyond it and gain the strength. But a lot of people want only entertainment, and they laugh and positive, whatever they talk about, but they hide the negativity. They don't develop these capacities. But once you develop them, this is the internal resilience I'm talking about, then other people can be negative, but you cannot do anything about them. What about your reactions? So for that, deep breathing, the pranayama that Pramod was talking about. But what I'm saying is, Pramod is showing in epilepsy, it has helped one patient, but doesn't mean all those people can do at the same level. It has to be a combination of knowing what kind of epilepsy it is, knowing what kind of irritations he has, knowing the background. So many things happen, but now it is definitely proven, apart from the scientific diagnosis of EEG, using some medications according to the severity of the seizures, and in the long run, teaching them how to slow the mind activity with the pranayama, and how to go beyond the activity with meditation is important. That is the difficult part, because you get caught in the thought and then immediately it pumps a network. For example, tell me, anybody can raise hands. In the morning, when you get up, are you in thought? Are you in your real awareness? And how long can you be there? Modern life is making us wake up in thought and continue the thought activity very quickly, and fortifies that by our devices, our exposure to unnecessary information. And we involved in everything, global gossip, I call it, and we involved all those things, but not really oriented to the meaningful, purposeful work that we have to do, what is important for us. Can you have the discipline? Yoga gives that discipline. But first of all, they don't understand what is really yoga is. Everybody thinks Americans, what they did was, they kind of Americanized yoga for physical health, and just some torturing of the body with all sorts of stress. They are okay, but then there is a science behind it. And then what was important is just able to sit down and calm your thought. How many people are doing this? In the morning when you get up, if you can really control your thought and just to be deep breathing, that's the upasana you started, and then you go to the other steps slowly. Okay. The more you allow your thought to go all over, the more you allow this stimulation with the devices is happening, though you sleep on them and you wake up in the morning, there's a cycle, vicious cycle. This is where burnout is happening. This is where information overload problems are happening. This is where all the brain fog is happening. This is the overwhelm is happening. So what it is information is not bad, but how you handle the information. Do you let it accumulate in your mind, or do you derive insights of the information, use that wisdom to improve your life? Right? So we'll go to the next question.
I just real quick. I used to get up and I would meditate, pray, and like do a quiet time.
Yeah.
Always first, and then developing more. Having to move home because of my my disability and needing help. I get up and I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I gotta do? Like, it's just like, oh, I got to get going. Move, 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 move. You know what I mean? And then just get done.
I have started this wellness club where the essential principle is this: that whole 1 hour, I don't entertain, I don't engage in small talk. What I invite them with me, I'm going to be here and now, in the present, cultivate awareness through the asana, through the breathing, through the meditation practice. All those things are done. There is even, by the way, I'm going to do one guest um, for the people. Some people asked me, so I'm going to do that where they will come for 17 minutes program I compiled, which starts with the warm-up breathing, and goes to vinyasa, goes to sun salutation, goes to head to toe, which is a simple thing that I devised myself. You do it for 5 minutes, your whole body limbers. And then we have, after the vinyasa, sun salutations, we're going to do something like a traditional 3 breathing practices. And then we're going to do the meditation part of it. And then we can open that to see how they react to that. But the main thing is be here and now, deep breathe, and do both sides of the body. Those are the principles. And in between asanas, take 3 rest. All the time you're deep breathing with my practice. That means you're really activating the vagus nerve, the parasympathetic nervous system, which acts against your sympathetic overload. But modern life gives you that sympathetic overload all the time. So you want to prepare your system against that, not running and going, all this hustling or all that. That is also a problem. So that's what my wellness club. Let's go to the next one. Is it Amber? Amber?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, hi. I just wanted to share my health conscious journey because I've had rheumatoid arthritis since I was 8, and I want to share with everybody what I've been able to accomplish by doing that.
Yeah, wonderful. Go ahead, Amber.
So I've had rheumatoid arthritis since I was 8. My grandmother had been an invalid with rheumatoid arthritis since she had been 16. My mom has it severely and is disabled, and I was disabled about, I would say, 4.5 years ago. I was approved for a scooter. I was getting a wheelchair. I couldn't walk upstairs. I couldn't go. If I ever overdid an activity, I would wind up in bed for days. And I was super, super sick. With the brain inflammation alone from rheumatoid arthritis was causing me to occasionally slur a word. I had severe brain fog. I was trying to homeschool my daughter, and I was having trouble with that. I couldn't work. And then I started doing the AIP autoimmune protocol paleo diet, which focuses on whole real foods, no packaged foods, boxed foods, no processed, and very heavy nutrient dense foods like leafy greens. And I started doing that, and I started noticing a difference. At least I was coping better. And then I added in time restricted eating of 16/8. So I stop eating at 8 p.m. and I don't start again till noon the next day. And within 4 days of that, doing that with the AIP diet, I brought all of my rheumatoid arthritis symptoms down to 0. And as long as I stay balanced on my diet, I get good quality of sleep. I'm intentional. I do Zen meditation, Shikataza meditation. As long as I stay in balance like that, I keep my symptoms down to 0. And whenever I start to feel a flare come on, I immediately go into a 24-hour fast, and I rest my gut and I let it kind of calm down again, and then my body goes back to 0. So I just really wanted to share my story because my family history is so bad with RA, and I'm the first one to get control of it. I feel like I don't feel, or I never fear going into a flare anymore, because one, I know how to handle it now and get it immediately calm back down. And 2, I just don't have that anymore. So I just wanted to share that.
Excellent, Amber. Excellent. Because she is not only doing integrated yoga like without her knowing about it, because she is attending to the gross body, she is attending to the subtle body, and she is being the witness of her bodily and mind activities deliberately, right? See, if you have a flare, the flare is pretty bad sometimes. Okay, I have a patient who comes to the clinic with rheumatoid arthritis flare up, where she gets nodules really pop up from morning in her arm, in her palms, not arm, palms. So you can see them, you can feel them. But then we have medications and all that we do, the IV medications she can get, and then they're very expensive. But when she gets them, they go down too. But the important thing I taught, which Amber was amplifying here, was face whatever it is as it is. Most of the time, the pain control is about worrying how bad the pain going to be, how I'm going to respond to that and all that. So you work up yourself to make it much worse. What Amber is doing is she's facing it as it is. And she gained that control of the mind with the Zen meditation and all of that. For example, Zen meditation, that's also grew from the Indian meditation, several developments. I'm very fond of samurais and Zen people as a whole. They will say, suppose you go say you are allowed to cut the wood and bring the water. And they spend months and months like that. Then they frustrate. They say, what is it we are learning? Yeah, you just cut the wood and bring the water. It's keeping yourself anchored to the activity you are doing all the time. So that's what it is. So being in the present, facing them without bringing our imagination or our memory to amplify the experience. Actual experiences may be severe or not, but you make it severe, even the mild one, by engaging in the imagination of that. So Amber, what she is doing is training her body, training her mind, so that, say, first of all, she is taking anti-inflammatory diet, nutritionally, vitally rich diet, green leaf vegetables and all those things she is doing. And
may I ask a question real quick about the diet thing? Because I have eliminated refined sugar since I was 18.
Yeah.
Got rid of all my allergy colds, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the thing I deal with now is like what your patient has. It happens to the entire right side of my body.
Yeah.
That it spasms up, and I literally have to put my joints back in place and like lean against the wall, pull my ribs away. And I feel like when I would go, I don't have an appetite, and the intermittent I like to do when I can get to bed, because I developed the PTSD thing. But
that needs to be looked at detail, and then you'll have accurate thing. Then you can do just like what Amber was doing, and then you will. It's like what's called swa adhyaya. Study your body in relationship to the diet. So there is.
Main question though was like the balance of protein to like.
Yeah, this is not that simple though.
Because of like, is there alkalinity involved?
No, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. That I'm trying to tell you. You have to have a better understanding of our nutrition genomics too, Ayurveda, gunas, and doshas, and so many things involved in the diet. People think it's all reductionist, like the modern medicine is, carbs and proteins and all. That's not it. It has got a much more life to food than that.
So I don't touch gluten or any kind of carbohydrate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And each of us are bio individuals. So what works for me isn't exactly going to look like what works for you. And so I actually became an integrative nutrition, health, and wellness coach to help people with that. And that's what we focus on, is bio individuality. But that's huge. So like, if you're just cutting out sugar, if you were like working with me, I would say, let's look at an actual elimination diet that cuts out more than just sugar, because you need to. I couldn't see under all of my symptoms when a food was triggering me at all.
Exactly.
I had no idea.
There are good sugars, there are bad sugars. That's what it is. You have to understand that, and also provide yourself with enough carbohydrates. It's like a holistic experience. It's not like a reductionist of the. It has got to do how you respond to the foods, and also what is your chemistry. So it's not like most of the people, they don't have this consciousness-based systems of Ayurveda and yoga. Yeah, just like a yoga, physical yoga, they reduced it to minimalistic, and what their understanding is, they want to put it. That's the problem with the American lifestyle. They want to make everything reduced to the body, but you are not just the body. You are not just the mind. You are that consciousness beyond that. So once you understand that, then you can figure out the systems better. And like Amber said, individual biological combinations are there, and doing that, you will get much more. You see, what she has is not a normal thing. It can flare up and give her a lot of suffering. She needed a lot of discipline in her diet, in her mind, and also in her routines. So that's all against this so-called freedom. I do whatever I want to do, the American lifestyle, which is being given to all sorts of the world, wherever people are learning this. So you got to withdraw, you got to understand what you are, and then do a constructive thing in a holistic manner, not a reductionist manner, like I'm going to change this particular thing today and then everything will be okay. It's an interaction.
I still have nothing left to eat though, because the only thing out of a package is the almond milk I get. So vanilla sweetened with no sugar added. And then these pure, it's made out of almonds as well, these crackers, but it's just almond flour.
Yeah, like I said, it's a complicated thing, and we need to sit down and talk about it, and then I can look at it if you want. Let's see other people. Yeah. Dr. Yang, does he have any? They are waiting too.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And I found, there's a ton to eat on the AIP diet. I make wonderful, delicious, it's just real whole foods. And like, I have woken up, all of the packaged food out there is fake food. I mean, especially, like all of the stuff, they can lie and they can say it has all these nutrients, or like vitamin, whatever, E or whatever is in it. But it's been so processed down, especially here in the United States, that it is fake food. So that is not fueling us. And once you can shift your mind over to, oh my gosh, that food is slowly killing, that fake food is fake food, and it's always fake food, and it is slowly killing us or slowly making us sicker, sicker, sicker. Nobody wants to end up where I was.
You see, the nutrition status in America is based on reductionist scientists who are thinking in terms of these carbohydrates and all that. They change the paradigm quite frequently. What I found was ancient people have a better understanding of role of the nutrition in a much more comprehensive way. So that's a big subject. Let's go to other people. Dr. Yang or Vivek, anybody wants to say anything?
Yeah, before that, Dr. Rao, let me quickly reset the room so that everyone knows what we are talking about. The subject of the room is learn by questioning. So are you health conscious? This is the topic, like Amber rightly shared her health conscious journey. And Alyssa was adding value to it. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you. Thanks a lot to Michael who pinged in a lot of people, and Renju for being here so late. She's been working hard all day. Srinath, thank you so much for your question. Pramod, thank you for sharing good points on the weather in Rajasthan and in Chennai and how to cope up with skin issues. And Elisa, Amber, Dr. Yang, Vivek, Dr. Mehta, Raj, Blaze, Manny, Seek, Notch, Priya, Sharp. Thank you all for being here. This club's name is Be a Pal, and this is Dr. Rao's club, and we are here to support him. And anyone has any questions, anything related to the topic, we'll quickly keep the shares for 2 to 3 minutes because it's been quite long that we are here. It's been more than 1.5 hours. So yeah, going to Dr. Yang. Dr. Yang, yes. Dr. Yang, are you there? So we'll go to Dr. Vivek. Dr. Vivek, are you there? Anyone who wants to speak? Yeah, Raj. Okay.
Dr. Rao, thank you for your share.
So I have a question, and I want to clarify from you.
Yeah.
I have some lungs problem, not COPD, but it is very near to COPD. But I was
sorry, Raj. Sorry to interrupt you. This topic again, I have reset the room because of that. Are you health conscious? That's the topic. Dr. Rao, you can talk to him separately if you have any issue. But are you being health conscious? Because I know you're deep into meditation. You do a lot of things, and you're very particular about your health. We want to know about whether you're health conscious or not, and then on that we can discuss if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's okay. I was coming to that, but
okay then.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Raj. I think you're coming to something like that.
I am into these Tibetan breathology.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I am now doing it, and that is giving me a lot of relief from my this.
Yeah.
Breathlessness. Sometimes when I run,
exactly.
I am getting it, and now it is slowly changing. And they are offering that my thyroid problem will also get reduced, and if I am diabetic, that will also get resolved. What is your take on this?
Yeah, Tibetan Buddhism and so breathing techniques are very effective, but they have to be done under proper guidance, But they have such a power. They videotaped it too for people to study. They could generate heat from within their body, staying in the icy water. They generated such a heat from their body, the water became warm, and then really you can see the fumes coming up too. But what is involved there is, you got to understand prana has 5 different ways it goes into your body and acts on different systems. One of the systems is this lung and respiratory system. What exactly are you doing depends upon your training and your capacity too. This is a very slow process, and it has to be done very carefully, understanding it. But if you take modern physiological part of it, the reserve of the lungs increases quite a bit. They have 3 areas, as you know, Raj. The inhalation, holding it, and exhalation. Puraka, Rachaka, Kumbha, those are the names for that. It is holding the air and then maintaining for some time is very much recommended for people to develop that. But that has to be done very carefully, very slowly. Advance it not by your willpower, but by how your body is responding to that kind of exercises. It's a very good thing. And also, the metabolic picture, we may want to understand diabetes, a particular thing, but they're not separate like that. It's a whole system. For example, thyroid is really epidemic now. A lot of people are having problems with their own mental status and also adjustment to the lifestyles and all of that. So I know certain patients went to some of these ashrams, and before they went, their TSH was very high. They were hypothyroid, but there are a lot of this motor and stress from the relationships, stress from their work is there. So it was there. But once they went there, they had this holistic understanding and really understanding that body and mind is being one unit. That really helped them to resolve several metabolic problems together, or at least reduce the medication rate. That was my clinical experience, but there could be something anecdotal too, but that's why we don't want to say something about that. But as a yoga practitioner myself, I know my energy, how it is before I incorporated prana and after I have started using the prana. But I had studied advanced, right? So I kind of go very advanced on these things. So my energy is very high all the time because of that breathing exercises, understanding what are those 5 prana, apana, udana, like that. 5 numbers, but each one acts on a different system. You got to have that. I have studied some of the works of BKS and other people too. BKS gave one course which ran for 22 weeks on pranayama. So you can understand how deep it is, So if you are doing them in a holistic way, not separately, this is going to get you holistically healthy. So if you want to talk to me about that, Raj, you can always reach out to me and I will see what you are doing and I will see what else can be added and how you can really cure those metabolic disorders. But, it has to got to not just the physical act of breathing, but how you are. See, there are 5 layers according to yoga. 5 layers around what? Around your real soul, real witness, real observer, right? There's like a gross body, Annamaya Kosha. Pranamaya Kosha is that breathing energy actually. And then that energy has got channels, nadis they call, 73,000 or something like that. So you got to open those channels and you got to let the energy go through that. That takes a lot of giving up your personality, your tendencies, your ingrained thoughts and all those things, right? Understanding all of that takes some time and observing them in your life takes some time. And then the important thing is, that's why people are surprised why I do it twice a day, every day. I really feel great when I do that. That's why people come and then participate with me because they feel great because I'm doing them with them, and then practically they're looking at me and doing it. I'm also looking at them so that I can correct and suggest ways to them. But basically what happens is all the stress of the day, all the stress of the thing is completely washed off with the session. So it's like a boon for me to do that, right? So like that, Raj, if you want, I will look at it, and then you're a close friend. You can call me at any time, and I will be able to.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah.
So Nilima, that's you can say that you can confirm that I am health conscious.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh, you are. And who am I? I'm not a doctor.
No. Nina was just trying to.
I am health conscious.
Yeah, she was trying to steer away from individual medical problems. That's all she was doing. She was trying to stay with a room theme. Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Rao. So that it's late in India. So India, it's like almost 12 o'clock in India, 12 a.m.
Yeah.
So if we are talking about health, we need to also get back to bed.
Yeah.
But having said that, it's a wonderful room. It's a great room where we are learning a lot and by questioning and also sharing our health conscious journeys. Because of that, everybody's benefited. I'm truly benefited from Amber's share and Elisa's, Elisa, you're a very kind soul. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Raj brought in very important Tibetan Buddhism. That's actually when I'm in the field of consciousness, right? There's so much research going on there. And I don't remember the book, but one wrote, he said, two systems. He's a Gnostic. That means he is an atheist, right? But in terms of this Vedanta and Tibetan Buddhism and Kashmir Vaishnavism, these two are very deep, complicated, very profound philosophical systems, and they lived there for thousands of years, and a lot of modern minds are kind of ignorant of the depth of that. Unless you have examined that, then you will find a similarity of the current scientific quest and the ancient quest for the truth is similar. Tibetan Buddhism is one of those refined forms of ancient systems. Very good. But he may be practicing only a couple of things. He's getting a lot of benefit. Like suppose he has a lung problem, either because you are smoking or you are not smoking, and you are living in polluted air, or you have antitrypsin 1 deficiency. Those things can happen, right? We can check that and fix that by giving antitrypsin injections. That is there. But if it is smoking, generally, people lose their lung capacity quite significantly, right? So these people in the United States, I think EPA really spends a lot of money to gather the quality of the air in each district, and they post it. aid now, epa.gov/aid now. So because I told you we live in the bronchitis country in this Midwest because of this corn factories and all that, a lot of people used to come, either their bronchitis is longer or more frequent, or a lot of people have this respiratory difficulty, dyspnea, and also COPD there, right? Then I used to recommend to them to check this, and they have a flag system. If it is really bad, they put a red. If it is good, you can go green. So a lot of people around us here, obviously the river city, so we have very greenery on the months we don't have snow. So everybody comes out and then does their ad work, and most of these elderly people don't have anybody else to do. So and they're doing. But this system helped them as they can go out and do the ad work or not. So that is something maybe you can also look into, Raj, how things are with aid work. Maybe India has something like that. I don't know.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. And I think the room itself is being very constructive. And myself, I'm learning, because whatever we do in life is a learning curve. And thank you for sharing all the information. And it's been very interesting. So much to learn, to be honest, especially to our health or anything, that we are as a people. But thank you, Dr. Rao, and happy to be here. I'm going to go quite late here, but I'm so happy, always to be here and support a friend and the amount of knowledge you're sharing with us. Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. Thank you.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions now, we will answer them and then we'll close it off. Yeah.
Yes, Priya.
Yeah, namaste. Namaste, Dr. Rao. I had met in Neha's room, right? Just 3-4 days back.
Maybe. Hi, Priya. How are you?
Yeah. Fine, Dr. Rao. You gave blessings also. My question is that, see, we've been, I have studied in CBSE school and aware of health, fitness, and yoga since school days.
Okay.
But now, when it comes to, now it's all instant, fast life.
Yeah.
We know that, we are eating junk. At times you can't avoid that, but how to avoid that actually?
Yeah.
You know very well that you're eating junk.
Yeah.
Okay. You know so well, and it's very clear that it is eating. It's okay.
Yeah.
They call, what to say? They say it's a cheat day. Okay, today is fine. Okay, chalega. Dusra din dekhenge.
Yeah.
Let's think for the next day.
This is exactly why this room is about prayer, because look at Amber, for example. She is knowledgeable. She's trying to help other people with nutrition. She's not waiting for them to have the problems happen. So like to promote, he was doing something. Raj is doing something. So the room is about how can we really aware of this kind of a dark force, I say, the processed food, or fast foods and all that. Are we allowing them into?
How to avoid,
Yeah. Like I say, I live in the United States, right? How I avoid is I kind of make my own food from home, or if I go to a cafeteria and all that, I spend a few minutes just choosing salads, something healthy that I want to do. So what it is, suppose I we don't go to the fast foods, we go to the, good restaurants where they go, and we can always talk to the chef and tell them what we prefer. That kind of awareness, so of course there are parties, there are, committee meetings, there are so many things happen, right? Even with the doctor's meeting, even to this day, they bring all these donuts or whatever nonsense that is they bring them. So I have to point that out to them. Then
that's ridiculous. But then there is something called hunger crisis.
Yeah, Amber has to say
even
something.
If you sit in home,
yeah,
even if you know that you are going to cook, you can cook. What you do is quickly take your phone and order something.
Yeah, that's the thing.
How to avoid that syndrome?
Yeah, Amber wants to say something. Go ahead, Amber, please.
Yes, I just want to offer a tip because what I really teach my clients is to do what's called crowding out. So you start eating more nutrient dense meals. You just start slow. Just start, this week. Make one meal that has real whole foods and is more nutrient dense. And as you start building on that and building momentum, you'll start craving all the bad foods less. Yeah. And your body will then switch over and start craving. I crave leafy greens. I crave vegetables. I crave, I do eat meat, so I crave meat. But yeah, you will crowd. It's called crowding out. So what you're doing is you're switching off like that. That sugar has a hold on you. The junk food and all the chemicals has a hold on you, and so crowding out is hugely important in what I do. And it's a very, I think, a very easy way to do it, and you will start to see a difference. So that's one big tip I can give for how to get.
Amber, let me say something deeper on that. You see, these habits have taken over for several years maybe, and also that is the thing I'm talking about. We are unaware that we are forming these habits, and then when the results come from the causes, then we want to pay attention. That may be too late. Like cholesterol endothelial formation happens at the age of 20. And one of my assistants, medical assistant, she's a very tiny girl. She's only 20 years old. She started at 19 years, I think, in her office. But she gets this happy meal at the McDonald's for $1. And she was, she wanted to, she has the money, but she doesn't want to spend it. She wants to save it, So she takes the entire family with the 2 kids and her husband. She's only 20, she has 2 kids, and then she is going there to eat this junk food every meal. And we wanted to check her cholesterol, so we kind of cajoled her, talked to her into it, and checked it. It was very high, 313 or something like that, Then we told her, why don't you quit this diet and go and do it? Then she started to change it, but then she was craving for that. See, basic thing is, how is the habit is forming without you knowing about it? Because you're unaware. So what we are trying to do is be aware of whatever you are doing. Not in a compulsive, punishing way, but don't take it like, oh, this is fashionable, or this is everybody is eating. That's not it. What you want to do is you want to take charge of your own lifestyles, your own habits, and then be kind to yourself. And like Amber was saying, just do one thing at a time. If you cannot do all the 3 meals, maybe one meal. And among the one meal also, there's a trick I will give you here. What I do is, if I really like something like a curry or something like that's very good, I usually finish off my meal with the yogurt and this curry and all that, so that my system feels really satisfied. So I eat the good things first, and at the end, I may indulge in something very small. Like, for example, dessert is there. Indian sweets, how rich calories and all that, right? And then my daughter makes wonderful ice creams, they are very rich, very much. But what I allow myself is, instead of taking the whole big cup and all that, I'll take maybe 1/4 of the cup and enjoy the taste. Other tip is, take time to eat. Sit down. And Annam Parabrahma, that is the ancient thing. That's what it means. The eternal God or intelligence is there in that too, and that is coming from his soil. That's why be grateful for that, and really grateful for the life that is giving it up so that we can have life. That kind of sensation, and savor the food, enjoy the food, take time to chew it, sit down and eat in silence. All these are principles from the ancient thing, right? But now what we do, we gulp it down. We kind of talk something and we don't know what we are eating, and we order outside because we never put an effort to really take time. Actually, cutting the vegetables, preparing the curries, and all, they're very therapeutic for you mentally. You can calm down, right? That's the kind of thing. So you can use all the process of that selection of the food, growing the food. I even go to the extent where I tell my patients also, cultivate the habit of growing some vegetables organically at home. And then also try to buy them farm stands, and try to buy them organic as much as possible. But then the expensiveness of the food is so much. There are places here that we call them deserts of this good food. So there are two kids. You know what they did? They put an app where the app tells you in this neighborhood, in this school, there are vegetables today, fresh vegetables. So you can just go in there, and then nationwide they created that kind of facility. So all the vegetable growers, fruit growers, and all they participate in that, because there are some black neighborhoods where they don't have anything except the uh, fast foods. They can't get any good food at all in the supermarket also. What they did was they kind of know in this, because they can't afford to pay a lot of money, they put in a library or church compound, something like that. And that is available on the app. And that changes all the time. And you can go there and buy your own vegetables. Another problem is growing them also is a problem. So black families and low-income families, they were given this piece of land where they don't have to pay any rent, anything like that. They can come and plant all the vegetables, everything together as a group of that community. And then when the produce comes, they can share among themselves so that they get good, healthy food. So that kind of things you have to do outside the government, with more like a attitude about improving people's health. Those things are happening, right? So you got to use your technology, you got to use your common sense, you got to use your own discipline. So, see, like Amber was telling that she has the problem and she doesn't want to let it go, she took control of that. My style is, how can we be so aware of what's going on around us, in us, so that we can be proactive about the four pillars I talk about from the ancient wisdom: ahara, vihara, achara, vichara. Ahara means food, vihara means activity, and the third thing is traditions. Traditions, they are playing role in that, good or bad. And then fourth one is, how can you control your mind to be calm and to be available to make this active. You are living unconsciously every day. You are not aware of what's going on within you. That's all this root purpose is. Are we conscious about our habits? Are we conscious about our lifestyles? Are we conscious of what we are eating, how we are eating? That kind of thing. Right, Priya? So now you gear up yourself and be proactive about your health.
As Amber told, also concentrate on one cereal. Like it will definitely, it's going to make not to think about any junk food, even consciously or unconsciously.
Even those cornflakes also junk food. Eat some oatmeal. That's what I do.
Or what to say, our idli.
Yeah.
Steamed food.
Yeah.
Or dosa, maybe 2 dosas. How much time it takes to grind and do, and what to say.
Yeah.
Millets.
Millets, yeah. They're called the grains. If you eat them, eat those very nice grains like ragi.
Pongal, millet pongals.
Yeah.
You have, and what to say, many things we have, but still we definitely as
no, if you look for it, you will get them. But it's a question of awareness. That's all I'm saying. I go to the McDonald's, for example, they have a vegetable salad. They have a couple of other things that you can do. We didn't go there in years because my kids are grown up and all. They hate that too. They both cook for themselves, and they're wonderful chefs. They cook very well. My son comes home, he doesn't let my wife cook. He wants to cook, and he does wonderful cooking. So he's taking care of himself, living outside the house.
You're the inspiration for them.
Yeah, and they do very well. Good job. So I'm happy that they are doing that.
Priya, are you from Hyderabad, Priya? Any chance?
I was in Hyderabad. I have a touch of Hyderabad also. Tell me.
Okay. No, I just, I'm from the field of, I'm from media. So we in Mumbai, I'm from Bombay. So we do have certified. Okay. So Pune is also very good. You can hire a certified nutritionist who will help you initially, not for a lifetime, but for the 6 to 8 months. She can help you or he can help you. And then once you're disciplined, if you really are not being able to do it on your own, but it should be from a proper certified nutritionist. And then you can start your journey and slowly get disciplined. This is what I had done. So they will put you like you were talking about millets and all, like oats dosas and all. I do make at my place. Yeah. So
idli also. I mean, I didn't mention oats dosa. I just said other millets. Is millet included in oats?
no,
Oats is
millets are
included in
different.
millets? No, no.
I don't think so.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, for this journey, it's very important to have, we are actors. All actors have certified nutritionists with them to begin with the journey. And a nutritionist is a good, see, like Dr. Rao was talking about awareness, right? We all know, like you rightly said, in the beginning, you started by saying, we all know what to do, but we don't take that first step. Or we are aware, but we are still continuing with the same lifestyle. So we need someone to walk with us, to hold our hand. And every time it's not possible for us to go with, everyone. So if we have a personal dietitian or a nutritionist, not dietitian, a nutritionist, they can first begin with us. For after 6, 8 months, you know what to do. So you'll be disciplined. That's what I feel. I wanted to suggest.
Neelima, you are a star. You can afford a nutritionist,
You know what? I had lost 12 kgs during COVID. That is outside situation. Only when I had to eat only home cooked food, because my family was so particular that I have to cook.
Yeah.
So I had cooked own food, and I had done my own job also without sons. Any maid was not there. So I automatically had reduced gradually over 2 years 12 kgs.
Wow.
The same I gained after सब हो चुका है अभी को.
Yeah, I understand completely.
आइसक्रीम खा लो, चॉकलेट खाओ, बस अभी तो वेट करना ही पड़ेगा.
Awareness.
Fat into subcutaneous fat like anything. But now gradually, like overnight, it's not a joke.
Yeah.
But whatever I should not do, I'm just.
Priya, let's see anybody else has any questions, So otherwise we'll be closing because it's too late for friends like Neelima, Renzo.
Dr. Ram, are you in India?
No, I'm in the USA.
No, he's not in India. He's fresh because he's in the US.
Oh, okay. I thought he's in Bangalore.
No,
he told me. I think you told me, no? We met in Bangalore.
No, I meant I visited Bangalore, but I've been here since 1981.
Okay, you're in US. Okay,
yeah.
Fine.
I'm fond of Indian ancient wisdom. That's why everybody thinks I'm in India.
You are a pack of wisdom.
Yeah. Let's see any other questions, Blaze or Mandy. Anybody else?
We don't know. You know so many things, much to learn from you.
Priya, it always happens when you are in another country. You tend to focus more on your country. When you are within the country, you take your mother for granted, right? Your country is your mother. You take it for granted.
No, this is a little bit more than that, Neelima. What it is, as a physician, I don't have a prejudice about ancient culture, like there's a rudimentary or it is retrograde or any of that. Is the one that BBC and Britishers have really managed to manage that. What I get disappointed is Indian modern youth like Priya, they should be adopting those ancient methods over these weaknesses of the West, I call it, like addictions, like food also they made an addiction, superficial lifestyle, superficial thinking, and so many weaknesses are there, but there are a lot of good things here too. So I celebrate the good things of USA. That's a self-actualization. And in terms of what we do with our language, with our skills and all of that, creating wealth and distributing wealth and all that, and not being late, not being lazy, all those things I like from United States. But they have this ignorance of the mind, I call it, because they view everything with that kind of ignorance, so they don't give themselves a chance to go and study the truths of the ancient wisdom, not colored by the religion, not colored by the culture. So I'm truly a global citizen. So I don't consider myself a USA or India, but I like both countries for different. My thing is heartfulness from India, and really a lot of professionalism of United States, and democratic values of the United States, freedom of the United States. There's a lot of things I like about the United States. Like I can do my thing here. Nobody bothers me. I have such a peace all the time. I'm in a nice little town, a lot of activity outside that. But then here is like a beautiful around the river. We have a lot of places to go. Wherever I go, I find that very meditative because I don't have to have large crowds and all of that. My office work, everything within 5 miles. So when we came here, kids raising was very, very simple. There are so many things I like about the United States, but there are so many weaknesses that are spreading all over the world, and world is not making a wise choice by adopting them. For example, this processed food. Why do you have to pay attention to the processed food when you have Ayurveda in India? Ayurveda is about nutrition as a medicine. How come you don't know about it? That's what I'm saying. That's where our awareness comes. I'm trying to bring my understanding, my study of the ancient wisdom to help us both physically, mentally. Actually, there's a point where you come, you say, body is my instrument, mind is an instrument. You are really the soul or the energy, the life within you. Once you establish there, then you can manage body and mind. But most of the Americans are either stationed in the body and they want to go to excellent body, or the mind, but they go through all these raga dveshas, that attraction and distraction and all that. So real peace is within you. Real happiness is within you. To go there, don't ape the culture that is based on sensory and mind going outward. Okay, that's where the problem is. So this is a combination of really blessed that we are at this terrific achievements of scientific science, and we have a lot of wisdom hidden in the ancient wisdom. That's also you have to be aware of. Am I simply copying the West without thinking, or am I taking the good things and also really implementing the culture that so I don't have to be in India to learn all these things. You see, I have the freedom, I have the means, and I have the encouragement to learn them. And now I want to bring it to the healthcare system where wellness-oriented systems are created. Because right now, people are encouraged to eat whatever they want, supersize and all that, gross mistreatment of that, and then hustle them, make them stressful, burn out the work, and then get sick, and then go to hospital and treated like a machine, and then sent out. But what are you doing by yourself for your health? There is enough knowledge. There is enough. You have to just entertain your discrimination and study them. Not like just because I studied one part of neuroscience, I know everything. That's not true. That's neurology and psychology combined together. That was there in ancient wisdom. And then the more you study this, the more you see what kind of insights they had. And I amaze myself when I see them. So I just, I don't want to rub them as a Indian culture here. I want to take the wisdom. Actually, modern Indians are not doing that. I haven't seen it. They are simply aping the Western weaknesses in so many ways. That is sad. All my effort is how can we create wellness-oriented systems, starting with the individual, family, and they take care of their own habits, their own. That's why this series is. Last time, what we talked about, how United States is not delivering optimal healthcare to people and not making them lead a good, even though like Amber, she has a situation, but she's managed it beautifully. That's what I'm looking for. How can you take, that's the biggest problem in the United States. People don't take responsibility for themselves. Large majority. There are some people, enlightened people, or they do, but that's rare. Most of the people don't even want to get up and walk. They want to just stay in the chair and watch football and all that. That cultural things, right? So they are causing problems. We are seeing them at our end. Obesity, 10 years old, and thyroid problem all over. So many problems. Cancer. You can see all of that too. And now there's a burnout. That's where I'm focusing energy, because a lot of my colleagues, doctors, have the problem. And that's a big problem for us, because they are saying we have so many people burning out. It may create as a national emergency, like, doctors losing, everyone, doctors to perform and all that. So even the doctors are working, they are not optimally, functionally enjoying and doing their work. We can do that. That's what I'm saying. You can be very efficient if you understand your mind and adopt the meditativeness that people talked about. And then, like, I am like that. There's a silence within me all the time, but I use my instrument of thought. After that, it's switched off. That's called moment to momentary awareness. You cannot continue thought. Yeah.
Is it mandatory to do, like, wake up early in the morning for yoga or exercise?
Yeah, it's a good thing, because in India, traditionally, they call Brahma Muhurtam. That means the Brahman is that vast, conscious, truth that engulfs us, that is where we are and all of that, right? To reach that is the reality. That is the real reality. Everything else is like a relative reality. But if you want to be established in the real reality, that is the time, because the world is sleeping, and not much of tanmatra, they call it, magnetism, that is not there. So it is easy to get into that. But then these days of late nights and all those things, you have to adjust to that.
Actually, sorry to interrupt. I'm well aware of Brahma Muhurat. Since 3 months, I'm doing night shift. Because of that, my whole timing has changed. Otherwise, I was the person who used to woke up early in the morning, like around sometime 3:30 or 3:45 or 4 a.m. Like,
there is a
without any alarm, I used to wake up my own.
Yeah.
It was in my habit.
But yeah, there is a way to improve your quality of sleep, so that when you sleep, like I said, sleep on the positives or sleep on the empty mind. I call that vacating the mind. That is my vacation every day, right? You can do that. And there are certain things, yoga nidra and shavasana, all those things. If you do that, I myself, as a physician, I needed this, because we have night calls, right? All the time, or the private practice, you never know who calls when. You have to be available all the time, So I needed to understand this and implement it in my life. And ever since I did that, I have beautiful sleep. Even if I sleep 2 or 3 hours, next day I'll be fully energized, because of this, what I do before sleep and what I do after sleep. That's important. And the other thing is, being aware all the time during your wakeful hours gives you a deep sleep. That's something we can talk about it. Anyway, if anybody else has anything, I'm not going to hold my friends too long, because it's too late for them. So I will stop it here. And next week, we're going to take up another subject related to this. This is like what is the need of wellness-oriented health systems? That's the title next week. Okay, so we will talk about that, and we'll see you have any questions about what is wellness, what is that, how it can be conceived, and all of that. You can start with individual person to our family, our society, our clinics, our hospitals, like that. Okay, so that is what I'm going to talk about next week. Right, Nilima?
Okay, Dr. Rao. So should we close the room?
Yeah.
Thank everyone and close the room.
Let's close, because it's too late for you guys. So,
yeah, I'm almost asleep. So thank you everyone, and bye-bye. See you again next week.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rao.
Bye-bye, Ranjan. Nice seeing you. Yeah.
Thank you.